Thank you for tuning in to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. Whether you're listening during your commute, while working out, or just relaxing at home, we appreciate you. Every download, every listen, and every subscription means a lot. Up next, the 12 Kyle podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading, and thank you for subscribing to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I am your boy, 12 Kyle. Man, check this out. On this episode, I want to talk about something that I have been dealing with for quite some time. As many of you know, I have, my wife and I, we have 4 children. They range in ages from 25, then we have a 22-year-old, an 18-year-old, and a 13-year-old. So it's the 3 oldest are the boys, and our youngest is our daughter. And, you know, with the advent of technology, a lot of times we have to text each other or call. The kids really are, you know, since they've had cell phones, and they've all had cell phones since they've been, you know, I don't know, 11 or 12 or whatever. But everybody sends texts. And the one thing that I made specifically clear to my kids is that, hey, when you text, particularly if you're texting me or your mom, text real sentences, text real words. Don't text in slang. And so what I want to talk about on this episode is text slang. And it's interesting because with the advent of technology, we have found shorter ways to communicate. Obviously, texting is a big thing, particularly in this year, at the time of this recording, 2025. Think about it. How many text messages do you send a day? Probably a lot. And in sending text messages, are you writing out complete sentences or are you abbreviating words? For me, I have to write a sentence out. I don't really accept people sending abbreviations to me because I don't have time to figure this stuff out. Right. And that's the thing that I communicated to my kids, like, hey, if you're texting dad, write the sentence out. And listen, I don't want to sound like the old guy in the room, even though I am the old guy in the room. I talk in slang, but there's a time and a place that I do that. And there's a time and a place for, you know, your texting and your slang and your text. I am someone who, y'all know me, if y'all been listening to this podcast at any given time, I will use words like dope, fresh, cool, whatever. You know, I still use my slang terms from like 88. I might call somebody fly. You know, I'm not going to call a woman, a grown woman, if she looks good, I'm going to call her fly. I'm not going to call her a baddie. That ain't my generation. That ain't my speed. That ain't my get down. No disrespect to anybody that does. That's cool. But like, I don't live in that world of baddies. You fly, or you dope, or you a honey. But nah, I don't really move in those circles. So the thing that I wanted to impress upon my kids is, like, you know, speak in fluent English, which is the English language is a beautiful language. It is one that is very diverse and is one that, you know, we learned obviously growing up in this country, but I was always taught to speak a certain way, talk a certain way when in the presence of whatever the situation was. No, I'm not going to be like, yo, what up, though? I'm not going to say that to, you know, at work. I'm not going to greet my supervisor like that by saying, what's up, player? What's going on? I'm not going to do that, but I will do that for my friends, depending on who I'm talking to. So anyway, long story short, the thing that I wanted to impress upon the kids is, like, you know, in using text slang, just be careful and be mindful of it. And the thing that I found out in having this discussion with my kids is, like, this stuff is constantly changing. So you can take a text, like, I'll use here's an example. FR. If you did not know anything, you would be like, okay, that's not a word. FR. For real, for real. Now, how hard is it to type out for real, as opposed to FR, FR? I think that's just lazy, but it's a way that these kids communicate. So, what got me to thinking about doing this episode was I came across an article and also the discussions that I've had with my kids. They, with their friends, do communicate like that. Personally, I'm 52, dog. I'm not typing for real. I'm typing for real out. I'm not typing FR. But I have no reason to say for real because I don't talk like that. I'll just say for real like that. So, and again, it's no knock on anybody who does. But I wanted to, particularly for those of you who may be a little bit older, the majority of my audience is 35 and up. And so some of you may still be in that world where you speak like this via text, because texting is the universal language. It's the universal mechanism that we use for most communication, because I came up in an era, obviously, I grew up, I was the kids in the last era of generation of kids who didn't have cell phones. So we talked on the phone. So more often than not, a guy like me will be willing to talk on the phone, as opposed to texting all day. So like if I were single, and I was on the market, I'm probably not going to text a lot. I'm going to text, but at some point we're going to get on the phone and rap till the sun come up. And if you're not a phone person, then, maybe we probably not going to be together. Right. Cause I'm just from that era. I couldn't see me changing at this point. Fortunately, I don't have to do that because I'm happily married, 24 years to be exact at the time of this recording. But yeah, I wanted to share with you just some of the some of the things that I've come across in thinking and talking about just how some words have really taken off as far as and again, these text words and the abbreviations have changed over the years. So first, let me give you some slang words. And slang changes over a period of time, and so some things that meant something years ago doesn't mean the same now. For example, the word bet. Like for me, bet was back in 89, 90. I bet. And I still use bet to this day. Bet is something that's kind of stuck around, but like the word sus. Sus means just giving off the impression that something is questionable or dishonest or suspicious. Bet means like I agree. Okay, cool. Salty. That's a slang word. It's when you're a little bit upset over something or you don't like something. Cap, another word for lying. So if you're capping, you're lying. Extra. Now, we never used extra in 1991 when I was in high school, when I was a senior in high school at Wilson High School in Florence, South Carolina. But extra means like being over the top. Like another word, bussin'. Like, oh man, that burger was bussin'. I would never say that Burger King burger was bussin'. But bussin' means something that you would say if something's really, really good. Bougie. Now, bougie has not changed. Bougie obviously means, you would describe somebody, kind of high class or what have you, literally or figuratively. And bougie in 92 is the same as bougie in 2025. Now, and it took me a minute to get used to this slang word, drip. In fact, I literally will piss my kids off if I use the word drip. They don't like it. Dad, why are you saying drip? I do it just to piss them off, but I think it's hilarious because drip means like your gear, something really cool, or your accessories, like this hat. This hat is drip, but I can't say that around my kids because they don't like that at all. Let's see. Shook, being surprised or astounded. Shook pretty much has been the same. Simp. Now, if you were called a simp in 1995, it was what it was. If you're being called a simp in 2025, it's still the same. Someone who is a sucker, basically. Now the word I can't use this word either. At least our middle child, Cameron, he's 22. He told me I can never use this word. I used it one day. I said, he sent me a song from some artist or something like that. And I responded. I said it was mid. He said, Dad, don't ever use the word mid. Mid is used to insult or degrade something, that's something just being average, basically. And so like, those are just slang words that some of you parents should know, but probably a lot of you don't know. But I tell you what, right now it's time to take a commercial break. On the other side of the break, I'll go through some of these abbreviations, some of which are downright hilarious. Sit tight. I'll be back in just a second. Are you feeling nostalgic for the golden eras of rap and soul music? If so, tune in to the Rap Soul Podcast. We are your weekly journey through the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, spotlighting the music and the hidden gems that shaped the soundtrack of our lives. From the powerful beats to the soulful melodies, we bring you the best of the past with fresh insights and stories. Rediscover the music that defined a generation. Subscribe to the Rap Soul Podcast and enjoy the vibes. If you want a podcast where culture, conversation, and life collide, where you get insightful commentary, engaging discussions, and a fresh perspective on everything, then you need to listen to the 12 Kyle podcast. Hosted by the one and only, yours truly, 12 Kyle, a voice that you know and trust. This podcast will bring you thought-provoking moments, compelling stories, and a whole lot of fun. Whether you're a first-time listener or just tuning in, each episode promises to be something new and exciting. So sit back, relax, join 12 Kyle, myself, and my guests as we break down the world around us and give you stories that you've never heard before, from nostalgic throwbacks to everything in between. The 12 Kyle podcast is a front row seat to this conversation. Subscribe now and never miss an episode of the 12 Kyle podcast, where the vibe is always real and the discussion is always worth your time. And just like that, we are back. Once again, it's your boy 12 Kyle. This is the 12 Kyle podcast, back with a bonus episode. And we're talking about tech slang. Before the break, I gave you just some regular everyday slang words. Now I'm going to give you some of the abbreviations. And again, this is 2025. So if you're listening to this podcast, it could be a situation where if you're listening to this beyond 2025, these words no longer exist and they've moved on to something else, because that's how this generation operates. So let me see the first one, and I got them right here on my phone, so I'll be reading off my phone. AFAIK, as far as I know. I mean, like, how hard is that to type out? But that's an abbreviation. AFK, away from keyboard. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Here's one that I did not know that you all should be paying attention to, particularly you parents. ASL, age, sex, location. That means somebody's trying to hook up. B/C, because. I'm okay with because. I'm okay with B. I've used that before. Okay, so I'm not. B/W, between. You can write that out, dog. You don't have to. Before, B and 4. I mean, again, how hard is it to write out the word before? BBIAB, be back in a bit. I've never seen that before. BBL, not to be confused with BBL Drizzy, not to be confused with the other BBLs that a lot of you ladies are participating with. BBL, be back later. BFF, best friends forever. I mean, I think that one was probably around in the 90s. BTW, by the way. CTN, can't talk now. Okay. CYE, check your email. I don't think I've ever heard that one before. DL, download. I'm not sure about that. I've used this one. ETA, estimated time of arrival. I send that to my kids, particularly when I'm picking them up. Hey, my ETA is 5:35. Let's see what else we got here. FWIW, for what it's worth. For me, I get this, but it's just as easy to write it out. Stop being lazy. FYI, for your information. I think we've all used this. This is totally cool. Are they still using cool? Is cool a slang we can use? Okay. Yeah, I don't know, man. With these young kids, boy, you just never know. Let's see. GG, good game. Bruh, really? GJ, good job. Write it out, idiot. GL, good luck. Man, listen, if you send me a text and you put GL, I'm cussing your ass out. GR, the number 8, great. Lazy. That's lazy as hell. GTG, good to go. Not to be confused with GTD, got the draws. Shout out to Tommy, rest in peace, Tommy from Martin. If you know, you know. Let's see what else we got here. HW, homework. I could see a kid writing that out. I mean, abbreviating that. IAC, in any case. I guess. IC. ISEE. Now that's about as lazy as you can be. If you put IC, just type it out. ISEE. Stupid. And the ever popular IDK. I don't know. We've seen that a gazillion times. What else? IKR. I've seen this before too. And I had to tell my kids, like, no, don't send that to me. IKR. I know, comma, right? Question mark. Type it out. IMHO, in my humble opinion. I think that's cool. That was fine. IRL, in real life. Now that makes no sense. I mean, just write it out. Come on now. This one kills me. This, of all the abbreviations, I probably hate this one the most. Okay. K. Listen, if you're a dude, you should never write or never respond K. It sounds corny. It sounds sus, if you will. It just sounds stupid. Write it out. Okay. Or write it out. OKAY. Never respond K. There's a guy at work that he responds K. And I'm like, man, if you don't stop, I'm gonna knock you upside your head. Let me see. Oh, LMK. Let me know. Okay, that's cool. LOL, laughing out loud. Use that all the time. And here's a question. When you type LOL, are you really laughing out loud, or are you just typing that just because that's something cool to type? And of course, that would the cousin to that would be LMAO, laughing my ass off. Are you really, really laughing your ass off when you say you were laughing your ass off? Let's see. N/A, not available. Oh, that's pretty universal. NM, not much. Write it out. Come on, man. This is just stupid. OMG, oh my gosh. Fair. I mean, that's pretty typical. OMW, on my way. I do use OTW. Now that is the one thing that I will use, because normally when I'm texting my kids and I'm picking them up, particularly my son Brandon, who's 18, and my daughter Skylar, who's 13, I will type OTW. I'm on the way, because I just don't feel it. And it's already, you know how it is, particularly, well, for those of you who have iPhones and the people who don't have iPhones, I don't know what this stuff does. But, once you've sent stuff for a while, it just automatically picks it up. Let's do a couple more. Let's see. POS, parent over shoulder. I'm sure that my kids probably have typed this to their friends at some point in time when they were supposed to not be on their cell phones while doing homework. I'm pretty sure they've done that. SMH, shaking my head, universe. We all use that. That's cool. People, PPL, stop it. Just stop it. This one's terrible too. SRY. Sorry. Just write it out, idiot. Come on, man. Let's see. TLC, tender loving care. I think that's been around since the 70s. TTYL, talk to you later. I think we've all used that. That's cool. TY, thank you. I'm not a fan of this, but I've seen it enough. I've never sent that to somebody. I'm just an adult who's going to type it out. Y. The letter Y for the word WHY. It's 2 more letters, man. Just write it out. I mean, it's not that hard. XOXO. Hugs and kisses. I think that's pretty universal. YOLO. You only live once. That was a thing at one point in time. I think they got YOLO out of here. I haven't heard YOLO in forever. And last but not least, YW. You're welcome. Again, annoying as hell. In conclusion, I just wanted to have a funny episode about this because, again, I have children. They talk to their friends and they use all kind of different slangs and abbreviations and stuff. And sometimes when I do see their text messages, I will ask, okay, well, hey, what does this mean? What does that mean? Because listen, if you're a parent and you're not looking at your child's text messages, at least some of them, you're failing because you never know what these kids are talking about. And it's not an invasion of privacy when you're paying the bill. So don't even tell me that. Oh, why are you going through my phone? I can go through your phone because I paid for your phone. I paid the monthly bill for your phone. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. Now I will say my older two, they're 20, 25 and 22. I'm not checking their phones for anything. I mean, they're young adults. But the younger two, but when the older two were younger, yeah, I would check their text messages periodically. And you have to be mindful of checking their text messages because you might see something that you don't want to see, but at least you see it. So, but all in all, ultimately in conclusion, but like I said, I want to just have a funny episode about this because ultimately text slang is not going anywhere. It's the way that we communicate. We communicate via text. And people have found ways to dumb almost everything down. Pretty soon we'll just be writing a letter or a number or a symbol as a word that we used to know. So that's where we are. And it doesn't appear to get any better from here. That's going to do it for me. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for checking out this edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast. We drop new episodes every Thursday and every Sunday. Well, the Sunday episodes are the bonus episodes, so you get those from time to time. If you're on social media, check us out. We're all over social media at 12 Kyle across the board, at 12 Kyle Podcast, on Twitter X, Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. Like I said, the podcast is everywhere. It's on all streaming platforms. Subscribe, and then tell a friend. Pass it along. If you're on YouTube, check us out on YouTube. Thank you for watching on YouTube. For those who do watch on YouTube, you can download and subscribe there. Be sure to hit the like button. That way you can get, the notification button. That way you can get notified when we drop new episodes. Also, if you'd like to contribute to the podcast financially, hit us up on Cash App, $TWELVEKYLE. And also, we have merch. If you look in the description box, there's a link that says merch. Click that link. You can buy 12 Kyle Podcast t-shirts, hoodies, as well as coffee mugs. We got it for the low. And last but not least, we have a new baby. Particularly for those of you who are music fans. we have a new baby called the Rap Soul Podcast. We drop new episodes on the Rap Soul Podcast every Monday at midnight. The Rap Soul Podcast is the intersection of discussion where we have about rap, soul music, hip hop, and R&B from the 80s, 90s, and the 2000s. Trust me, it is the best music podcast that you've never heard. So check it out. Again, that's going to do it for me. I am your boy 12 Kyle, and this has been another edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I'll catch you guys next time. 5,000. Cheer.
Thanks again for listening to this episode of the 12 Kyle podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and share this podcast with a friend who needs the 12 Kyle podcast in their life. Every listen, every download, and every share helps us grow. Thanks for being a part of the 12 Kyle podcast community. We appreciate your support. We will catch you next time. 5,000.